I'm Elaine Sims. I'm on the campus of St. Catherine's College in Pettis Auditorium here in the Allied Health Building. Today I have with me Teacher Shakundi and Chris Owens of a new face on campus. I'm going to let you introduce yourself again very quickly for the people that maybe haven't seen our previous shows.
Definitely. My name is Teacher Shakundi. I'm the Dean of Students. I just took on this role in the middle of March, and I've been serving in that capacity to my intention is to be able to serve the students to the best of my ability, and each one of them has got certain goals and different goals, and they're exciting nonetheless, whichever way they want to go, whether it's they want to become the next best nurse, in our area, whether they want to become an owner of a different business outside of these borders. So I'm very honored to have that opportunity, and I get to work with a really good staff. I have Chris Owens, who just joined our team this semester, and he's able to help out with some of that mission. So.
Okay, Chris, we need to know a little bit about you. Okay. You came to St. Catherine's from?
I came from St. Catherine from University of Virginia's College at Wise. There I served as Assistant Director of Residence Life. I've been in the field as a professional staff member for over 5 years now, and I also served as a student role as a resident assistant for a few years before that. So residence life is my passion, and I also worked with student activities as a student, so it's neat to have that opportunity as a professional staff, so I'm very blessed.
What do you study to become the role that you have? Where did you do in college?
In college, I have a bachelor's in psychology, so I took those classes that way, and I love to see how people think, so that interested me there. You can do a lot of different backgrounds for undergraduate, and then for my graduate degree, I got a master's in human services with an emphasis on student personnel and higher education. And in that coursework, I studied different things related to student development theory, which helps us understand how our college students develops, and there's a lot of different theories that go along with that, as well as finance of how college works, and also legal issues in higher education.
So you probably had someone like teacher advising you on what you needed to do after you got out. I mean, really, that's taken on quite a trying to figure out what you're going to do after you graduate with one degree and going to go into graduate studies.
Right. Mm-hmm.
How did you end up in University of Virginia Wise? How did that
Well, I worked at Eastern Kentucky University, and I saw they were at a conference that I went to, and I knew the director there, and I told her that I was looking to potentially grow after my first professional career opportunity at Eastern, and she remembered that, and a few months later they told me they were hunting for a assistant director position at Wise. I applied there, and I was the candidate that the committee felt best suited the needs of the college, and I worked there for 2.5 years.
Wow, you seem too young, but wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. St. Catherine's, how did we get to snatch you up?
Well, my wife and I are natives of Kentucky, both. She's from Pikeville, Kentucky, and she's a great lady, and she's very supportive of me in my career. But we've always wanted to come back to the state. Even during our time there, we realized Kentucky was home. So I decided I wanted to search and come back, and I found this opportunity at St. Catherine College. And I got my resume out and got it ready and interviewed and showed them who I was, and they felt that I was the best candidate, and I've tried to hit the ground running, doing everything I can to make it the best place for students to live.
So you started in August?
I started in June 21st.
June 21st.
My first day was a star orientation. So.
Okay. So what all does your job encompass?
I do a few different things. I oversee the Residence Life program and the staff within it. I supervise Stephanie Pollitt, who's our assistant director there. We also have a staff assistant, his name's Terrence, and we have 13 student staff in our office. I also look over the student activities side of the fence and advise our student activities group, the Patriot Activities Council, and maintain the budgets with both of those areas. And one of my other main jobs is I handle the discipline issues that may come up in the residence halls and use those as a learning opportunity to help students grow from their choices.
I hope you don't have to use that much, but I'm sure with with these young adults, I'm not going to call them teenagers, they would resent that if they were watching this show.
Yeah.
But we all regress at some point. We grow. We take a few steps up, some, and few steps back.
Right.
But we're here today to talk about the possibility of summer housing on campus. I'm not sure that I was aware that this was maybe on track for this past summer. But so, which wants to address this? This is a program that's just originated recently.
Yes, there was a need for, I was tasked before, I was developing my time here and learning how to offer opportunities for students to at least pursue their education in the summers. I was tasked with the project to develop summer housing. And so we hadn't been able to get it off its feet, but we formed a committee last year, and therefore what we did was to understand what it would take to get that started at St. Catharine College. And while we're still young, I'd like the opportunities to develop these things and at least bring us along to where we need to be, because our neighboring institutions offer these programs. So we looked at what, facility space, that's an important thing, like where are we going to put the people? And we had to think about when we do this, how are we also going to be able to make sure that they have a good place to stay, and then also meal options, and that's another thing. So we had to look into those kind of things, and then also discover what kind of staff support do they need, because of course they won't have as many students on campus, but who will be there in the event of an emergency or anything that they may need. So we looked at all those things, and we were able to get at least able to get 5 students last summer to stay here.
So they're here for credits.
They're
because
here
I've only read the first line,
Yes,
which summer housing on campus, but also they're here to take credits for.
They'll be taking classes. That's the intention, is to be able to take classes, and we are very. I don't know if many people know, but we have a competitive pricing as far as our summer academic programs. Is that it's $150 per credit hour. That's what it costs to take a class. So for those people who would like to get them at a very discounted rate, I mean, I've looked around this area, and I think that's the best pricing we have.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, do they have to be on summer housing? Do they have to be on campus to take these summer programs?
No, they do not have. It's more or less the students who, for instance, the ones who took advantage of it don't live close to home. They're students from out of state. So we had students in that situation when we had an international student. So we are going to be having the Bingham Scholars coming in January, and so this kind of gives us a tie-in for that opportunity to house those students when they are here, because they only have very limited opportunities to go back home, but they'll need to be here to do. They're in a 3-year program that's very accelerated and very involved, so they need to be able to stay on campus. I mean, they just can't fly back to whatever country they're from.
Sure, because I think they're allowed to go home, or all their expenses are. We talked about this earlier with President Houston. I don't know if you can answer this question. How many classes are offered here in the summer? Do you know how many classes? We've never addressed that on the program. It's the summer class program, because that's something people need to be thinking about.
Yeah, it is something. I think when we started it last year, I would say that we were still in the birth stage of developing this program, and so I think we have an opportunity to start early, let people know it's not too late or too early to start planning. I think the sooner the better. So we have the advantage this semester, at least, to tell students you can, start thinking about summer classes. 1, they're cheaper. 2, if there are courses that you don't feel like you'll be able to finish in this course of 1 semester, you can finish them in the space of, the summer programs are definitely more condensed as versus,
are we talking about a 4-week, 6-week class?
Yes, they've got that format.
It just depends on how accelerated you want to be?
Yeah, they've got summer sessions, of which, they have longer class sessions. So your traditional, what would have been a 1-hour class, over a week.
Sure.
You're now having probably 3 hours at a time taking those classes. So, there's some flexibility there. You can at least take some classes and go to work.
I didn't even know we offered summer school, but I don't know everything. There's just so much that's going on out here I don't know about, and it's just every time I come out here I learn so much.
Right.
Well, that's amazing. So last year you had 5, but yes, with these international students coming in,
Yeah.
and then it sounds like they're going to open up scholarships for the ones that applied for the international scholarship. That big scholarship, they're going to give them a discount, so there may be more.
We don't know what it's gonna
this
look
could
like.
grow and grow. This
Right.
is, during the administration of Martha Lane Collins, we had a lot of international students, and it's beginning to go back to that again. It seemed like they were mostly from, I don't remember where they were, maybe, well, from Japan, but maybe Vietnam. But, now this is going to open it up worldwide with this other scholarship program, especially offering those 69 people, or the 66 that didn't get it, the opportunity to come here if they want.
Exactly.
Interesting. Yeah, it opens up a whole new issue with food service, I guess, being able to provide these young people with but it's also going to keep you busy all summer. But I would think it would be a very enjoyable time to be able to have one-on-one and to do whatever you need to do to get ready for next semester also.
Right.
Yeah. Did you do this in your school before?
We
did
did.
you all have a summer campus program?
We did. In both institutions I've worked at, we've had summer school programs. Typically what we did is we took one hall and just designated it for that program, and we looked at the number of applicants to help us understand the bed space we needed, and we tried to accommodate those students. At UVA-Wise, we used a residence hall that was an apartment-style structure, meaning it had a kitchen in it. And that way, because we didn't have food service in the summer, so that gave the students an opportunity to cook if they needed to and prepare their own meals to help with that.
Well, and there's definitely options here. If Snappy Tomato does not stay open in the summer, but maybe I'm hoping as time goes on, people will take advantage of using this library. And if we continue to have programs in the library, like book signings and art exhibits, hopefully it will continue through the summer.
Right.
And it would bring more people out here. That would be an advantage. But I'm sure it's a challenge to figure all this out.
Yeah, it seems to be a challenge, but when you've got the right people working together, we talked about it this morning in a meeting, was just using the talents and resources that we have. We've got a good tie-in with Snappy Tomato, so that's one of the people that we work with for meal options.
Yes.
Actually, we offer the students 2 meals a day, and they can choose between, they can either go down to IGA and get a meal, or they can get one from Snappy downtown. So they have that option. The IGA is more of like a home-style country type meal, sit-down meal, and then your Snappy is you can pick a sandwich or you can pick a pizza, this kind of thing. And as we continue to work with it, the people on the committee, we've got at least 6 people who serve on our committee. From the vice president of finance, he serves on that. Our director of facilities serves on that committee too. They help us figure out the accommodations and the space, this kind of thing. And so our director of residence life, Chris, does help out with that. And so a lot of pieces coming together, just and it's to be able to serve the student essentially. That's our goal at the end of the day. Especially
that's great. Do you remember, where were the students from? Do you remember?
We had some from Australia, and then we've had some students from Florida as well, and then I forget where the other one's from, maybe the Louisville area.
Really?
Yeah, we had some.
Really?
Yeah. Right.
Well, that's great.
Right.
I sure have learned something.
Yeah, I think situations like this are fun. I think it's always great to figure out new ways to do things.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure even with 5, I'm sure they became great friends.
Oh yeah.
You hope they did.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But just to bring those different, and it is different cultures, no matter where you're from. If you're from Australia or Florida or Louisville, to come together and bring your different, because we all have come from different cultures, from county to county, well, community to community.
Correct.
In a small county.
Correct.
As we are. Well, good. And you live here in Washington County?
I do.
Good. We're happy to hear that. Is your wife working while she's here?
She is, yes. She works in Lexington right now, but we're trying to get a job closer to home. So when that happens, it'll be great for her.
That's great. Well, it's wonderful. I mean, again, this is a great program to introduce to our audience. End of first semester, start thinking about it for $150 a semester hour. Wow. I mean, yeah, and for people that are here in Springfield in the summertime, and want to get some of those classes out of the way.
Correct.
We had a daughter that did that once, and it definitely helps when
Right.
you're, especially if you're in an accelerated nurse practitioner or physician assistant or whatever. Well, whatever you decide to go into.
Correct.
Well, I don't know if it was your idea, but congratulations on this. Good. And we'll follow up. Maybe we'll talk about this again at the end of next semester and see what seems like. Of course, you need to have deadlines,
Right.
and we need to talk about that, what your
Correct.
deadline's going to be for sign up, and make this aware to the people. Some people aren't sure they're cut out for college life, and this would be a good way to introduce them, especially the ones whose parents may be a little concerned that they're not going to buckle down and study. And they're going to have great supervision. I don't think you stand over them, but I guess if the parents gave you enough money, you could.
Well,
Do homework.
no.
But good,
Right.
good. Well, it looks like a great fit for both of you.
Thank you.
Both of you. And we're glad you're here. I
glad
say
you have
we.
me.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Glad to be
Thank
here.
you very much.
Appreciate your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you for coming by.
Not a problem. You're welcome.
Thank you.